Hail Adventures! Pwn Star here with Pwn Star Gaming. Guys, how are you? My name is Pwn Star, if you guys didn't catch that already. But I just wanted to take a minute and first off say that Final Fantasy XIV Online has been great. It has been great. I've played it before. I got a Bard up to 70 and Astrologian up to 66 back around the time Stormblood had been released, and I didn't really have many friends to play it with, so ultimately I ended up burning out and not playing it after that. I did recently come back to it with all the hype, as many people have, and it has been a blast, let me tell you. I currently have a mage, a black mage, that is getting very close to level 60, and I couldn't be happier with my job choice. It is just filled with explosions and booms and everything. Now, I've played a lot of different MMORPGs. Everything from Ultima Online, as you guys can tell from my channel. I've been playing that since T2A, which was back in 99 or something like that. I've played World of Warcraft, Shadowbane, Dark Age of Camelot, so many different games, Guild Wars 2, and they've all been a blast. Final Fantasy XIV is just killing it right now. I wanted to take a minute to kind of go over 10 things that somewhat bothered me and I wished that Final Fantasy XIV could improve on. Now, the very first one is going to be that the storyline at the beginning, I really wish it was all voiced. It seems extremely slow at the beginning, and I have heard from many people that they tried to play Final Fantasy XIV, but the story was just so slow in the beginning. They didn't want to pay to jump past the story or have a job at high level or anything of that sort, so ultimately they just kind of gave up. And in that same aspect, combat is not quite as fluid as in World of Warcraft, but it does get much better as the game progresses. Which, my point in even bringing that up is, once again, the early game is extremely lackluster. And I do feel like there is a lot of new players, in fact I know, as previously said, a lot of new players that end up quitting just because they can't get past that early game blues, as I like to call it. There's just so much running around in the world, it gets pretty ridiculous with the storyline in the beginning. I mean, you're constantly going from one point to another, and sure, the scenery is beautiful and it is just breathtaking at times, but there's only so much of that you can take. Thank goodness for the crystals and being able to teleport around, but for a new player without the gil, it may be costly to take care of that. Another thing, and this is definitely me just nitpicking, is I would love to have a berserker class of some kind. You know, an in-your-face melee with two weapons. As you guys can tell, I like Viking stuff, so I would love to have, two axes in my hands and just bashing away at whatever foe is in front of me. Something very similar to a Fury Warrior in World of Warcraft. I think probably the closest to that would be a Puglist, which I did enjoy. I didn't play it too much, simply because of all the different positionals. The positionals ended up getting to be where I felt like I had to be constantly dancing around, and for me, that just wasn't what I wanted to do. Now, let me say, I've been in Duty Finder with some really good Puglists, and it is really awesome to watch how good they are and their positionals and things like that, but for me, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. The next two are rather big ones, and I know I'm not the only one that has this same thought, is the armory is way too small. As I found some items that were great for alts, as in hand-me-downs, I wanted to hold on to them. That way, once that character got up to that level, then I could just easily equip him with it, or transmog it, as Warcraft people call it. But ultimately, 35 slots for my armory just wasn't enough. Next thing you know, I'm having to go through and decide when's the next time I'm going to be playing my Dark Knight that's at whatever level he is, and making a decision of, well, I guess I could just buy another chess piece, because I just didn't have the room and I needed it for my Black Mage currently. Another one to kind of follow up with the armory is the transmog system could be way better suited, as if it was the same as World of Warcraft. Once you loot something, as long as that job can use it. It goes into whatever database is stored, and your character can always transmog or glamour, as they call it in Final Fantasy XIV, that piece of equipment anytime. I really enjoyed that aspect of World of Warcraft, and it made for a lot of fun playing Barbie dress up in the transmog shop. Same with all MMORPGs. I think all of us can agree that one of the funnest things is coming up with different glamours or transmogs or just paper dolls, as we call them in Ultima Online. I have read on Reddit that it is very difficult to switch all that up and do things of that nature because the way it's coded. But let me just say, please, from the bottom of my heart, and possibly many others out there, make sure and like this video and comment if you agree with me here. If there is a way out there to do this, then please make it happen. Create some team that their whole job is just to fix the Armory and the Glamour system, because I promise you it would just help the game even more. The next one might be a touchy subject, and I'm not really sure how I feel about this one, but let's get some add-ons. Maybe it's what led to the toxicity that's in World of Warcraft with the, different mythic IOs and damage meters and all that stuff, and you have to be able to hit this threshold of DPS, otherwise you're going to be kicked from the raid. Maybe that led to some of the toxicity, but I can say for me personally that I really enjoy watching my damage meters and seeing how I'm pairing up next to the other black mage in the same raid group as me, and then watching what he's doing just to see where I could improve my damage and see how my guild or free company in this game could kill it faster or kill it at all. This one, please, out there, better beards, please. Please give me some long beards. I don't want these ones that are just barely there. I want a good epic beard. You know what I'm saying? Let's get something long on a, whatever race it is, and let's have some really awesome beards. Maybe even some of those cool little beard rings and, some braided beards, just something cool. Please give me some beards in Final Fantasy XIV. For goodness sake. Number 9 on my list is the Lodestone could be easier to access via in-game like World of Warcraft or even Guild Wars 2. I think that it would not only increase their sales for things in the game, but also just it's all around so much easier than having to log into a web page and browse through there. Also, being able to try things on your character would be very helpful. I know me personally, I do like buying some of those really cool outfits that were in Guild Wars 2 or even in World of Warcraft. Sometimes I liked getting those mounts if they were cool enough. So if we could get the Lodestone game shop in-game, that would be very helpful. And for the last one, it's very focused around PvP, is give us some more Battlegrounds, give us some more different types of scenarios or different PvP type things. Even an arena, which might be what the feast is. I'm not quite sure. Maybe, just some skirmishes or capture the flag. The front line is a lot of fun, but I would like to see some other things. Maybe instead of 3 factions, there's only 2 factions, or 2 small teams of 4 or 10 or whatever it is. Just more Battlegrounds to gather more experience for PvP. Guys, that is my list. I really appreciate you guys listening to me ramble on. Please keep in mind, this is coming from a new player that does not have the extreme experience as some of you guys out there. This is in no way, shape, or form meant to bash on Final Fantasy XIV, but instead we'll call it constructive criticism from my personal point of view. There may be some of these things that are fixed later on in the game that I just don't know about it, and if there is, then please let me know in the comments below. Other than that, guys, please hit that subscribe button, as I am trying to build the audience that I have for Final Fantasy XIV. I would love to be playing with you guys. I do stream Final Fantasy XIV here on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I'd love to have you guys come by, hang out with me, introduce yourself, and give me some pointers, as I am quite the noob. Guys, thank you so much, and Pwn Star Gaming out.